Hey guys, so Gold Streams here again. I want to talk about a trade that I took today on the 5th of February. Again, obviously, as you've probably seen by now, I only trade gold. I only stick to one market. I don't look at other markets. But I want to talk about sort of you coming into the markets and you're seeing that gold is trending heavily bullish, right? Or it could be trending heavily bearish, and what to look for. Now, there's a couple of things that you can look for, right? You can, if it's in this case, it's trending heavily bullish, you can wait for a support to form on a time frame once the support forms, and then the high is broken. So support simply being a bearish candle close, and then a bullish candle close forming support. The high will be broken with the next candle, and you can look at taking entries. If you're looking at a market that's trending like gold was trending today, or currently is still trending today, um, then you can also look for impulse entries. Now, I always mention this: impulse entries are difficult. They're not something that I sort of encourage new traders to get involved in, right? They can sort of turn against you. You have to be very, very wary in managing risk. But once you learn impulse entries and once you're comfortable with risk management, then they can become a really, really good tool to use. In the beginning, I would say just concentrate on waiting for candle confirmations. And 90%, even experienced traders, I say, the best thing is to wait for candle confirmations. But when gold is rallying like this, and there's a lot of news in the market right now, there's a lot of news in the world right now that's going to keep moving gold up. I was also keeping an eye on the Dixie, and the Dixie's actually moving down, which is sort of a clear sign that gold's going to move up. So I'm waiting for two options here. I've just started sort of the morning. I've just come in, opened the charts, marked supports. There's no resistance because gold is at all-time high. So you've got to be very, very careful. You've got to trade with sort of targets of using psychological numbers, so hold numbers to trade. But you can wait for two things. Like I said, you can wait for a support to form, or you can look at see if you can get a possible entry and an impulse entry. Now, I'm looking at the 30-minute here, and as you can see, there's a lot of sort of space on the downside, but sells is not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in buys. I want this trend to continue. I think the trend is going to continue. Right, this current 30-minute candle that's open is also the 4-hour candle that's just opened up. It's the 1-hour candle that's also just opened up, and you can see it's come down. It's made a bottom wick first. So, I'm looking for this candle to flip bullish. But in order for me to enter, I'm not just going to enter because this candle flipped bullish. I want a structure to form in terms of an impulse entry. And the way I like taking impulse entries is if we can get a bearish close and the next candle comes and breaks that high. Okay. Because it means sort of that's the perfect impulse entry. That's where I'm expecting that price can give me, 15, 20 pips. And that's sort of all I look for in the markets anyway. So I'm just keeping an eye on this, and you can see my entry goes in there, right? So on the flip of the 30-minute candle, I'm going to switch to the 15-minute time frame and show you sort of what the impulse entry, what my confirmation was for the entry, and why I took the trade. So you can see the stop loss is at the bottom of the 30-minute candle. My TP is at around 20 pips. So it's a little 1-to-1 ratio here. But I'm looking at this current 15-minute candle. Okay, you can see the bearish close on the previous one. This candle came in and broke the high. If the price comes down and starts to break it, if this 15-minute candle comes down and starts to break its own low, I'm closing like 70% of this trade. I'm not interested in this trade anymore. I'm going to go back to my original idea of waiting for a support to form. If we get a continuation and we get out 15, 20 pips, then fantastic. Okay, it's simple as that. With impulse entries, you've got to be very, very careful. Okay, you can see if you look on the chart, and if you look sort of on the chart that's on the screen now, you can, if you go back, you can see that we had a possible impulse entry earlier on, and it didn't work out. So that's what I mean. With impulse entries, you have to keep risk management in mind. I don't take impulse entries with full risk, right? I always lower my risk size. So if I enter a trade normally, which I do with like 2% risk, when it comes to impulse entries, I'll use something like 1.5% risk. All right. But this worked out perfectly, and I expected it to work out because impulse entries work when the market is trending. Okay. You can see there that obviously the high was broken. it's the candle is not coming down and testing its own low. This is the second half of the 30-minute candle. So the 30-minute candle is flip bullish, the 1 hour candle is flip bullish, the 4 hour candle is flip bullish at this point. Everything is heading in our direction. Okay, so at this point you're just waiting sort of to get whatever pips you're comfortable with out of this trade, and you're sort of being very, very wary, and you've got your risk management in place. All right, but you can see this is a very beautiful trade. Again, another trade with practically zero drawdown. I think we went down like 2-3 pips. But yeah, this was a perfect trade. So you can see, obviously, after the high was broken of the previous candle, we secured partials at around 18 pips, set stops to break even, and that's it. Call it a day at that point, let the trade run. I did come back and I saw that there was a support created on 30-minute time frame later on, and the gold actually rallied up. It was also a support on the 15-minute time frame, but I wasn't in front of the charts and I wasn't interested in taking a second trade. To be fair, it came in, I made my 2% for the day. I let it run a run. This runner did come down and hit break even, but either way, I was happy with the way the trade worked out and the way the market kept moving up in my direction. So it was perfect. But yeah, guys, impulse entries, just keep them simple.